Pretend I'm sitting on a couch with two other people. Hi, I'm Ariel Italic.
I'm Lady Berica.
And I'm DJ Social Distancing.
And you're watching Nobodies Watching Wrestling!
Here is Ariel. Here is Wyatt.
Listen, the WWE had to change some things, and so did we, so this is what the show looks like now. But even if we couldn't do it the same, we still watched Wrestlemania, and we're still going to talk about it, and you're still going to watch it, god damn it.
This is the future.
I guess we can start with just general thoughts about the whole thing.
I have a lot to say
general thoughts.
This is going to be so hard for Josh to edit because we're all just going to talk over each other, and I'm so sorry.
Look, we didn't have to order pizza, so pizza budget goes straight to Josh.
Anyway, go with your general thoughts, Ariel.
So, when this started, my immediate thought was like, we can't do WrestleMania the same as we do other things now because it's like, it's not a regular wrestling show. And so the matches that just pretended like everything was normal, just like across the board didn't work for me. And so I started coming up with like alternate reality plots in my head about what could happen.
Oh my God.
I have a lot of ideas that I would have pitched in the writer's room, but like overall, they like everything needed to be different. Here's like my number one like basic easy thing they should have done. The McMahon family should have been in the room watching as like evaluators, just so there's some sort of audience and also some sort of stakes, and they should have had some sort of plot like the person who they like the least is gonna get fired, or the person, like they should have all been auditioning for their spot in the WWE.
The whole thing needed more of a conceit than just like it's empty.
And I had another great one. I was like, what if it was all a Saw movie and the entire WWE got kidnapped in a basement, and whoever does the worst literally dies?
Are we Ring Gear remixing the entire show?
Yes.
Yeah. It needs it.
Yeah, I liked. My favorite part is when people came out, did their thing they normally do to the audience, and waited for applause.
I hated it so much.
I thought that was
the entrances.
So hysterical. Like,
my thing about it was that I didn't feel like I could fairly evaluate anything I was watching as good or bad because of the circumstances. And it made me feel bad for the performers because I couldn't tell if the match was good or not because everything was so strange.
It's really strange. And then also the people, well, one, you never hear everybody speaking. It's too loud in the arena for you to hear everything that everybody's saying. But then you have people like Shayna Baszler who shouldn't be on a mic ever. You hear everything she's saying. So it's really funny to me.
Though I think that being able to hear people actually could have really helped with the plot stuff. Like, it's an opportunity that they sometimes maximized on, but often didn't, and I guess that depends on the wrestler and how comfortable they were.
Thing that I heard someone say, we're talking about this match later, so I'll just, Bayley says to Naomi, you better run, you little dance machine. And that's something we should never hear. Or maybe we should.
The other who was comfortable talking and who wasn't.
Yeah.
Bayley was too comfortable talking.
So something someone pointed out to me is that what's very important for actually wrestling is that because crowds are loud, those wrestlers are often calling spots with each other.
Oh, yeah.
So, sorry everyone, we're breaking kayfabe right now. Hi, JJ. The thing about that is that when there's no noise, you can't call your spots in the match anymore. All of the wrestling is harder to do.
Interesting. I was surprised they didn't do more pre-taped stuff. I mean, we're going to talk about these matches later, but like the final match of each night was like a fully pre-taped edited thing. And just because the live stuff was working so poorly, I was surprised there wasn't more pre-taped or edited or more highly choreographed stuff. Like, in the same way that
pre-taped stuff is where it's at for WWE now.
And what we've learned, so we've learned that doing drag live is different than doing drag to a video audience, and we've had to adapt. And I think that the WWE has not learned that doing live wrestling is really different than doing pre-taped wrestling.
Right. It's funny too because I kept saying this like in my head, like drag queens are smarter than wrestlers because it took drag queens 1 week to figure out how to do compelling live streams, and WWE is a $1 billion corporation and they just couldn't figure out how to do it.
Yeah, that's the lesson overall.
Yeah. I don't know. The whole thing just made me really sad more than anything else. Like I just felt sad for everyone involved, and sad we had to watch it, and sad we weren't partying with our friends.
It did feel really sad.
There's a lot of sadness.
That's a good description.
The pirate promo.
Yeah. The weird Ricky Gervais thing.
Wait, Ricky Gervais?
No, but it was like clearly like a bad voice actor doing like a Ricky Gervais impression. Like,
I forgot the meta part.
Yeah.
I loved it. And then when the facade broke down, I thought it was really actually smart and campy for WWE. Actually.
I saw what they were going for. I don't think they nailed it, but I appreciate that was a sign that they knew that they had to shake things up a little bit, and they were like trying.
And it's the pirate world.
Why was it pirates? We'll never know. Know. Should we go to the matches?
Sure.
The matches. 1 second. I'm sad that I forgot to put on earrings.
We can't see your ears. Okay, so we're not going to do all the matches because this was 6 hours over 2 nights. So like
8.5.
I can't believe they still leaned into 2 nights in this world we live in.
Listen, they've got to they don't have to make their money, but they're going to. Anyway, so we're going to start with the lady tag team, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus Asuka and Kairi Sane.
Asuka and Kairi Sane were really fun.
I mean, straight off the bat, they righty. So remember everything funny you said and do it again. Okay, so we're going to start off with Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus Asuka and Kairi Sane, the tag team.
Asuka and Kairi Sane were really good looking.
I mean, they won the runway portion for sure. Like straight off the bat, I was more invested in what they were serving.
Yes, I mean they were like miles beyond Alexa and Nikki Cross. Also, what are they doing with Nikki Cross right now?
It doesn't make a lick of sense. I was wondering the entire time.
And gave her some neon and was like, just go.
And a follow-up question to that, because so she does have the neon thing, which doesn't make sense for what I know of her, but she also unzips it and takes it off later, which I think I meant to infer means something. Couldn't tell you what.
I think, as the meds wear off, she starts to...
Oh my god, the ceiling fan!
Oh my god,
my favorite character of WrestleMania.
The best part of the show. That's not true, but it was the most bizarre part of the show because it pulled focus really hard, and they could have shot around it.
Wait, was that a real ceiling fan?
What?
As opposed to...
I thought it was a projection because in certain shots that I couldn't see it.
Think the McMahon family CGI'd in a ceiling fan?
I mean, just as part, mise en scene.
Mise en scène?
Yeah, that thing.
No, it was really there.
It was a really nice ceiling fan.
It wasn't going that quickly. I don't think it actually helped them maintain their temperature at all.
No, it seemed entirely functionless. One thing I noticed in this match is that Asuka and Kairi were better at making noise so that it seems like there were people there. I think it comes probably from working more Joshi-style matches where audiences are more silent and you have to scream more. So they just know that already, but they were very good at it.
That was literally one of my favorite parts because they were still doing call-in responses and trying to work up the crowd, but there was no crowd there. But they were still doing it and getting hyped by themselves.
But it hyped us too. Like I felt more connected, even though I couldn't understand what they were saying. I had like an inner spiritual understanding, and it made me invest in what they were doing in a way that, like, you know, Alexa seems like such a good smack talker, but she wasn't carrying the plot by saying anything.
Right.
I imagine that it is very strange to be performing to it. I mean, I've performed to empty rooms. I got my start on fucking YouTube. I get it. Like, it's hard to keep the energy up, and like, I guess they're all not used to it, but you could tell which wrestlers throughout the night were like comfortable just manufacturing their own energy and which ones really like felt awkward in the ring.
The wrestling itself was pretty fun and entertaining, but again, it's hard to judge anything else when everything's so distracting.
It felt weirdly flat at times. I liked when they did creative camera stuff, like when I think it was Nikki threw Kyrie literally into one of the cameras.
Yes.
It's like a creative choice that made you feel engaged, and like they did little things to play with the format, but not maybe enough to overcome the hurdle of like this entirely new era that we're living in.
Correct.
So Nikki pins Kyrie for the win.
Right.
I don't feel like that was a props. I feel like the Kabuki Warriors just were better.
I read on the internet somewhere, and I don't know if it's true, that Asuka is taking time off and Kyrie is going back to Japan. So
good for them.
Give those belts away.
Yeah, good. You know, live your life, girls. You don't have to stay with the WWE. None of us want to. And I'm not even part of it. And I want to leave. Match 2 in our lineup, because we're not going to do all of them, is Shayna Baszler versus Becky Lynch. Perhaps my favorite moment of the night, just for sheer, like, juxtaposition of what they wanted to do versus what they got to do, is Becky driving up in that truck, which I think is such a Charlotte coming in a helicopter moment, because it is in dead silence. It just felt so insane.
Becky Lynch's mug is all over a semi-truck.
And no reaction. Like, why didn't they have, like, music or something underneath it?
Yeah, that
felt so. There are ways to make that work, but like dead silence, it just feels like that's the car that she drives everywhere.
There was something perfectly Lynchian about a silent truck.
Yes,
so weird.
Her gold jacket was great, though.
Her look was great. I love that they elevated her from yellow and black to gold and black.
Yeah, that's fun.
Mm-hmm. Gold and black was way better than the yellow and black that she had been in for a while, or whatever.
I don't agree, but I still like it.
Shayna looks like Shayna, like,
nothing new.
And neither one of them really, like, there's not a lot that you can do with the runway when no one's there. So, like, the runway presentation was both of them walking down a ramp.
Sure.
You know what they do?
Huh?
Is hold their poses for less time. Doing this to nothing.
Yeah, there is a thing too, where someone does it later, and I'll reference it when we actually get to that match. But there's a way that like the runway is still presented as though it's about the audience when they should have altered it so that it's about intimidating each other. Like, you're coming in to be like, I'm so great, and I'm going to kick your ass, and like you just have to change focus.
What did you think of the actual wrestling part of the wrestling?
I don't remember much of the wrestling.
I think that this one felt like, because we were building like the energy was already like a little lower than it should have been for the last match, and then this one it just felt like even lower. Like I think that they were both having trouble keeping this feeling buoyant. It felt sort of in the same way that the truck driving up should have been amazing, and it felt empty. Even the parts that seemed like they were supposed to be incredible just sort of felt like deflated for me.
Right. There was some technical cool stuff in there, but I truly can't remember it today.
The only thing I wrote down was when Baszler was slamming Becky's head into the announce table. That was kind of...
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty fun.
Yeah, I like that.
That was pretty fun.
My only note for this match is that it's like jerking off with a condom on. So that's how I felt about it. Becky, she gets to like somersault out of a chokehold and pin Baszler, and so she wins in what was actually, again, like, it was a cool win, or it would have been if we felt excited the rest of the time. But it felt like a little muted. So Becky won with an objectively cool but emotionally dull finish.
Wow, tough critic over here.
I'm so happy for her, and I wish that she had gotten a better WrestleMania. But listen, we're all just stuck in our apartments, cursing the world.
You know what could have been cool is if they'd added like an audience track to these matches.
Like a laugh track?
Like laugh track, but an audience track.
I mean, let's not pretend that they don't edit audience reactions to these shows already.
True.
Like, they have experience doing this. So, we're moving on to the men's ladder match. We've got Kofi Kingston, we've got Jimmy Uso, and we've got my first question of the night, John Morrison. Who's John Morrison?
He was in the WWE a long time ago. Then he went to Impact. He was on Lucha Underground, and now he's back in the WWE.
Sure.
He has like a tacky Hollywood guy gimmick.
He's Drew McIntyre in Elvis pants, right?
I guess. Slightly more shaven.
I am feeling a real Hangman Page vibe off it. I thought he was a cowboy.
Oh, okay. Not really working for us then, I guess.
No, I didn't get it.
Nothing about him was exciting or new or fresh.
He did some exciting things, though. He was the one who actually did some of the best moves.
The wrestling was fine.
He did like a tightrope walk. He did like a flip off the top turnbuckle. He pushed himself with some really cool. He won me over by the end because he did the most like dynamic stuff for me. Not that I don't love Kofi and Jimmy, because I like them both and I think they both did great. But I think that John Morrison came in with something to prove to me personally. And
so, you can't have a John Morrison and a Drew McIntyre at the same time. And an Elias? Come on.
And a Seth Rollins.
Come on.
It's a lot of them. A lot of those boys.
They should have all wrestled each other.
I'm okay with Morrison being the one, but like he's got to be the one.
He is really good.
Say
that again, Berica.
Kofi's hair is so cute.
Yes.
So good.
Yes.
And his paint by numbers outfit, adorable. So the thing about this match is that it will just never be fun to watch someone set up a ladder.
Oh my God, what is it with wrestlers and not being able to know how to set up a ladder properly? Like, all of a sudden, the ladders come out and they get dumb as hell.
It always takes them 20 minutes, and like, I just never want to watch. It's never that fun to watch the ladder matches anymore because there's only so many configurations, and we've seen all of them.
I like a ladder match. I think it's fun to watch stupid people jump off big things.
Oh,
it's worth it.
What made it fun for me is that Kofi's got this little bit of chaotic energy that he's bringing to the match now. Little bit of chaos in him.
I think that Jimmy also did great because he was one of the ones who did the most trash talking. We talked about how that this, like, the silence doesn't work. He did a lot of trash talking to his opponents, and he filled the space really well.
That's true. That's true.
And like, I don't know why the others aren't doing that. Like, I mean, Kofi's a good talker. He could have like jumped in.
Well, it's not part of what they're used to. They're not used to having to do that.
Yeah.
So maybe they need to take some improv classes during this time. WWE hire me. I will come teach these fools improv. Would it be fun?
Oh my God. If everyone learned from you specifically, that would be really interesting matches.
We didn't mention the strangest part of this match was that it was a singles match for the tag belts.
Yeah, that's weird, huh?
It was entirely because you can't have that many people in a room together. Like, that was just like the COVID intervention.
I think one of them might be sick, but like, I don't know.
The ending of that match. Are we ready for that? Like,
we need to talk about it.
Oh, right.
That was so funny.
I loved it.
Knocked down, and he had both of the belts in his hand, so he ended up winning. That's all.
Yeah, and we got to pan to, so like, Kofi and Jimmy Uso both having the most wonderful cartoon character faces holding an empty hanger, just being like, oh. But anyway, John Morrison who's his tag partner?
The Miz right now?
Oh,
Great.
God. What a terrible tag team.
So John Morrison and The Miz both have some belts. Good for them.
Makes me want to barf.
We're at the end of night 1, and we're going to do AJ Styles versus Undertaker, which is our first major departure from the format.
Yes.
Let's talk about this match. I was really excited to see them leave the ring.
Yeah.
And go somewhere else. The graveyard was maybe like a little on the nose for Undertaker, but whatever.
No, it's what I want.
If Elvira would have come out, I wouldn't have been surprised.
Oh,
I would have loved that.
that would have been
good. I know. I just saw somebody post ceramic salt and pepper shakers of Elvira, and her boobs were the shakers.
I want that. I love her.
No, it's just
so good. So this match was really interesting for me because I know there has been some discourse on the Intertron about whether it even counts as a match.
Right.
Which is that what's going on? I wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah, people are trying to argue that it is not technically a match, it is a vignette. It does not count as a wrestling match. I couldn't tell you what the sort of structural logic of it is. I guess because it's pre-recorded, but so is a lot of I don't understand it. It seems like a splitting hairs distinction at this point anyway. The point is that it was a goofy, silly, dumb, fucking absurd thing, and it was fun to watch.
Who are these nerds on the internet saying this isn't a match?
Nerds on the internet.
I mean, the thing is that in the end, it was so much more fun than everything else that I was surprised the entire night wasn't this. Like, this is what I hoped everything would be.
Right.
It would have been more fun had AJ Styles not been the one he was wrestling. But that's neither here nor there.
I wish I'd written down which of them said it. I believe that Undertaker said it to AJ, but one of them said to the other, "I'll show you a hole, boys."
That's the content we're looking for, y'all. I bet it was AJ.
I mean, he's already done it once.
I did. It's funny that you say that because I had written down this is a very specific type of porn.
Graveyard porn?
Graveyard porn, yeah. What'd they call it though? Boneyard match.
I suppose when you throw in the word bone, it does like add that veneer to it.
AJ also called the Undertaker a broken down old bitch, and I just want that to be somebody's drag name. Please don't broken down old bitch.
Oh my god. There was like a weird, like, I wouldn't say there were gay undertones, but a queer sensibility match. I'll say this. If we're gonna do a lot of talk about how old Undertaker is, then bringing back Biker Taker is not a great choice, because nothing looks like reclaiming lost youth more than an old man trying to look cool on a motorcycle.
He still looked cool though!
No, he didn't.
The worst part was after either night 1 or night 2. I think it was night 1. They were showing some Undertaker documentary after WrestleMania ended, and there was just him like sitting in like a wicker chair or some shit in like a Blue Lives Matter shirt, and I was like, well, never mind. Like,
the juxtaposition of seeing Aleister Black come out the next night, and that's like the Dark Lord we need and deserve.
I was gonna say, Undertaker's your dad's Dark Lord.
Yeah. Dad.
He's like a Biden voter Dark Lord. Not even apparently. He's apparently a Trump voter Dark Lord. I don't know how he's voting. Maybe he's like a Buttigieg supporter.
The Dark Lord these days really needs to love the gays, and Aleister does.
Yeah, that's the kind. I mean, though there was, so in the same way that this match, this does connect vaguely to Dark Lordness. In the same way that there was more like editing and other stuff, this match also had blood.
There was blood.
Intentionally, one assumes, because they could have cut around it.
When the hearse came out, I was like, oh, they could have gotten a better hearse. But then I understood when they started throwing people into the hearse.
I was gonna say that I understood when I realized that it was AJ driving it. That's when I knew that's why it wasn't a cool hearse.
True.
I like that the Undertaker still does magic.
All right, now we're gonna move on to night 2 of WrestleMania. We're gonna start off with Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley.
I'm sorry, you meant Rhea, I'm into heavy music, Ripley?
Oh my god.
Somebody introduced her to Papa Roach, and that's when she got into heavy music.
I couldn't believe it. I was so sad.
In fact.
It explains why she was wearing white and bright blue as opposed to black. None of that makes sense with like what her character is supposed to be.
I really liked her outfit tonight.
Girl, no.
I thought it was really cool, and it was like, I like it when people take an all black look and make it something different. Like the Usos wearing all white in something that looks like it should have been black. I think that's fun.
No, not with that color palette. And also, it's another Dragon Ball Z anime nerd cosplay thing.
I thought it might be like some sort of reference.
Yeah, I'm over it.
It was good for me. I liked it. It was clean and fresh, simple and detailed.
Those just aren't Punk colors.
Yeah.
That's fine. She's not a true Punk. We know this now.
It was like she picked a new weapon in Mega Man. I wasn't feeling it.
Oh, she totally did. I love that.
I will say, of all the entrances, Charlotte's entrance works the least without a crowd. I think there's something about like a huge cape with an amazing presentation where she's just like trying desperately to impress the adoring fans, and there's just no one there. It felt the saddest.
I mean, that is the most exciting thing about that entrance, is that she had to endure that for once.
Mm-hmm.
I did think she looked good.
She looked so beautiful. Her makeup is beautiful. Her face is beautiful. She's
face was beat.
So beautiful.
Face was beat.
I had this thought though the other day, where Charlotte can no longer say that she's genetically superior after having surgical alterations.
That's true. That's true.
Like, if you had to say
Drag Race anymore, she will not be on Drag Race anymore. She's got boobs. My favorite look of Charlotte's of the night, though, was in the promo, the pirate promo, that dark fallen angel look. I want to see more of that, Charlotte. That was fun.
She was kind of good in that.
It was really good. It looked really fucking good.
Oh, she should have died and then come back as that.
She truly has like a regal aura, no matter what.
That's true.
It's just, there is something about her that does exude royalty.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of the wrestling tonight, I think that there was a good plot for her to work with, and she sold it really well. She also is not a huge talker. She did some talking, but like the plot points of like, so she's gonna go for Rhea's knee a bunch, and that's gonna be like a thing that Rhea can like. They told a story, and they had a story to tell that sort of kept the match going when there wasn't energy, or there wasn't crowd energy.
Yeah.
It was a match that happened.
I thought Charlotte and Rhea both did the thing that Asuka and Kairi did well too, where they just were yelling a lot. And that helped because it not only made noise, but it was also like an expression of how hard they were trying and their spirit, and that it's so much better than the silence. So I thought it was really good that they were just screaming and grunting a lot, because it gave it a real desperation. Another thing also was that in an empty room, you can hear their fists slapping against each other more, so you have to hit each other harder too, and I liked that about it. Like when they were throwing punches, they actually had to hit each other instead of fake punches because they need the noise.
Oh, I meant to make that point actually about the last match, is that there are a few times where they did not insert a punch sound for one of the fake punches. And I was like, for a pre-taped match, that's a fail. But yeah, they did that really well in this match. And also, Rhea did a really good job of making agonized pain noises. She had a real repertoire of them. She made a lot of different I hurt my knee noises, and each of them was more bone chilling than the last. That none of them were that.
Charlotte did one of my favorite things she does. She continued acting after winning.
Yeah.
And she sat there and she acted and she acted and she acted. And she acted.
She did. Even though she wasn't getting the crowd, it was not like that's also like a very Charlotte thing for her character that like she doesn't need the crowd to love her. She's just like, I have a belt and I love myself. Like
exactly. Yeah,
it worked.
I was sad Charlotte didn't do a corkscrew moonsault because that's just my favorite thing, and she's so good at it. And she just finished with a submission, but she got that one in deep. She was like a full, Arc of Hysteria Louise Bourgeois sculpture.
I'm gonna need to look that up.
You can Google that later. Edumacate yourself. It was it was a good finish. It was a solid match. I was for a format that is just lacking overall, they did as best they could.
Yeah.
So good job, Charlotte. Good job, Rhea, too, but you still lost. So we're going to move straight to...
Wait. One more thing about Charlotte and Rhea. So one thing about this is that I have to say I really like that like the NXT women's title still seems really prestigious compared to all the Raw and SmackDown titles that just seem like trash, because everyone who has it like actually is incredibly good and like has an interesting defense of it all the time. So I'm excited to see what they do with Charlotte with it, and I'm excited to see her in a bunch of new matches.
So what's going to happen now that it's in Charlotte's hands? Is she just going to go wrestle at NXT a bunch?
Yeah, and everywhere. She's just going to defend it everywhere.
Oh,
great. All right, we're going to stick with lady matches. We're going to go to the Fatal 5-Way. We've got Sasha Banks versus Lacey Evans versus Tamina versus Naomi versus Bayley.
I'm just going to go down the list here.
Okay.
Go down the list and start with Sasha.
Yes.
Sasha, dripping in glamour, glitter, gold, she's rich. Is that a new song?
Wait, can we talk though? We just did a Ring Gear remix where we said that Sasha's thing needs to be opulent coats, and then she came out in opulent coats.
Yes,
literally dripping in riches.
The coat,
Sasha, are you listening?
The coat looked very expensive. It looked custom made. It looked like very detailed. It was amazing.
They're listening. Now I just wanted to go bigger.
Yeah.
Do we need to do a weave watch?
Oh yeah. All
right, everyone, we're gonna do Sasha Banks weave watch. God, that feels really dumb when you're in your apartment alone. And I'm just gonna give this one, I think, an A.
I give it an A.
I'm gonna say a B+. At the end, it was shifty a little at the end.
Fair.
Keeping down the list, next is Lacey Evans.
Her outfit was actually nice and tailored this time. It didn't look like an off-the-rack thing.
That is the exact opposite of what my commentary was. I said really? I thought it looked like a sailor Halloween costume from a bag.
I thought it looked more fitting and more tailored for her. And there was like shiny things, and I was like, ooh, shiny things.
I thought it was somewhere in between the two where it was completely uninteresting and I don't remember it.
It's not interesting. It's just like a thing that she does, and her hat was terrible as always, and there was some weird rip away like that was tinier than the actual shorts.
True.
And we just don't stand Lacey Evans, so what are we don't need to talk anymore about it.
I have to admit though, she played her part in that wrestling match very well.
Yes, she did.
She really did.
Yes, I will talk later about how much I hate that I was happy that she was doing well.
Yeah. Next outfit.
Let's move on to Tamina, who was wearing something that Nia Jax said was too ugly. Is like the exact impression I got.
They're just not putting any budget into Tamina ever.
This was her best match I've ever seen her in.
It was really good. She got to wrestle for a little bit longer than she normally does, but not long enough.
Oh, I have a lot to say about that. Let's move on to Naomi coming out with that like neon whip situation.
Oh my God, perfection.
The outfit was spectacular. The booby swirls. Oh, neon booby swirls in her bra.
Great, the best.
The cartoony font on the gear.
All about everything.
Yeah, the color palette was perfect. The whip actually looked cool.
Yeah.
Love it.
And then okay, guys, I don't want to keep saying that Bayley doesn't look good because I like her, but like that like ill-fitting top and the terrible makeup choices, like why can't we make Bayley look
and the
nice?
boring entrance walk? Like, you're defending a title, bitch. Come in there with some oomph.
She's always so sad.
I'm a sad girl. She's like one note. Always.
And just like one note and infinite bad outfits. Problem. But I love her to death. I do like Bayley, which is why I hate always ragging on her clothes, but like, oof. But let's talk about the wrestling, because there are 5 people doing a lot of shit.
This match was amazing.
Really good.
Great. The wrestling was great. Here's the thing. We've seen this before. We've seen Sasha and Bayley together in a match like this, teaming up, and then maybe not, and then like coming back together, and then we see Tamina get knocked out too easily. With the match we've seen before. The wrestling was good. The story was just it's been done.
That's true. It's not entirely something new. They're still teasing the on and off Bayley Sasha thing. That story doesn't seem to be moving quite yet.
Also, give Naomi a win. Naomi should have won this. She was the most fun to watch.
Yeah.
I still like that Sasha's characterization for herself is pretty strong. Like, at any moment, you really don't know if she's going to turn on Bayley, because she keeps it like well concealed. And, you know, like the small detail of her, Sasha was good at talking. Like, she was telling Bayley what to do the whole match, which I thought was like cool because it was noise again, but better because that's like the character. Bayley might have the title, but Sasha's the one calling the shots.
Maybe this is leading up to our Ringer remix once again, and Bayley being the pawn of Sasha.
Right.
Yeah, I do think it helped that this, like, in the same way that some of the other matches felt flatter when they didn't have plot, having 5 people who had established dynamics really made this like move forward, because we had we started off with a clear plot, everyone against Tamina. And like, we have to eliminate her first. And then we sort of divided off into pairs once she was out. And then we had the dynamics there. Like, there was a really clear story being told the entire time.
Yeah, and I also love that the fact that Naomi didn't need to be paired up, because she was taking 2 people out at once. Several times. That's why I thought maybe she would win, is because she was like so dynamic.
She did great. And
like, actually, as much as we rag on like WWE, it actually says something kind of interesting that they put those 5 women in a match, and each one of them had a unique relationship to each other in ways that came through in the story and
That's true. So give us the bad news and tell us what you liked about Lacey.
I just thought that she performed really well. Like, she had a part to play, and because there was like a real plot, she had to carry the wrestling of it and the acting of it, and she really she was part of the ensemble. And I had like, the fact that I could acknowledge that she was doing well meant that she must have been doing fucking incredibly.
She was doing good. Yeah.
I also thought her skill at the wrestling part of it is getting better, and noticeably so. Like, I like her moveset a lot. She makes her finisher look really strong, even though it's just a right hook.
How do you feel about Bayley taking away the women's right?
But also, she didn't, because you brought up earlier that Charlotte didn't do a moonsault, but didn't Lacey do one?
Yeah.
She did like a crazy, like a springboard moonsault almost, where it was like a jump up with a twist before it. It was amazing.
From the middle rope. She jumped up from the middle rope to the top rope, flipped around in the middle, and then did the moonsault.
I thought it was so cool.
I didn't know she had it in her. I was really impressed.
She's unfortunately getting very, very good.
Even homophobes can be good at this.
Yeah.
I know this by now.
We just have to get her some gay friends who can bring her around.
Well, when she comes to my improv class, I'll do my best.
So this ends with Sasha getting eliminated, coming back, and taking out Lacey, and then Bayley gets the pin.
Mm-hmm.
Cool villain move.
But I didn't even think it was villainous. I thought it was a good redemption move because she leaves and you think that she's going to hold a grudge against Bayley, but she comes back in the spirit of friendship.
Well, no, in the spirit of storytelling, it tells you who's actually in charge of this friendship.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
But she stays by Bayley's side, and she does, like, when Bayley wins, she gives her, like, the, like, hand gestures. She's like, no, you take it. I'm gonna step back and let you have your moment in front of the no fans. She does the whole thing.
I thought she was gonna smack her with it for a second.
Yeah, same. And that's what I'm saying. Sasha's a pretty good actress in that way.
She's a really good actress, yeah.
Like she, like, can, at any moment, turn.
That's true. You never know what's gonna happen with her.
She's the real winner. And Naomi. And Bayley. And Bayley. There were 3 winners, and they were all great. Next match.
Yeah, next match.
Okay, kids, so we're going to close out with the thing that WrestleMania closed out with, and that is the Firefly Funhouse match between Bray Wyatt and John Cena across time and space.
I like that you just washed over the Drew McIntyre match and Brock Lesnar match completely, because that's what they actually closed with.
Yeah, no, as far as I'm concerned, that
would be what matters.
There was a match after the Firefly Funhouse?
Yeah. Yes.
I just assumed that was the end.
No, they did Lesnar versus McIntyre after. I didn't subject you to it because what's the point? Oh, I just thought it was beautiful art about human suffering. It was like a really interesting exploration of John Cena's psyche, that he like feels too old and looks back at himself and feels foolish, and like here's like him reliving the past, and then he's ultimately defeated by the anxiety and terror that brings up, which is shaped as Bray Wyatt.
I love it. I love that these 2 fun guys got to go and just do something really spectacularly stupid.
And strange.
So strange.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you put this together with that Undertaker match and start doing shit like that more often, that's where it's at for WWE, and that's where it needs to go, is because whether or not you think these are matches or not, this is entertainment.
For sure. And I will say that I thought both of them were such good actors. Like, they actually had to perform.
Bray killed me. I like him. He's a good actor. I could see him doing something outside of this. He needs to be in, what was that movie that Hulk Hogan did, Super Nanny or something like that, back in the 90s?
Sure.
Just a reboot of that with Bray Wyatt as a nanny for, like, just stupid comedies like that. So funny.
I bet he could pull it off.
He could
totally. I definitely thought watching this, I was like, well, because John Cena has a movie career, but I was like, oh, Bray Wyatt.
I don't think anybody really thinks he could have a crossover career, but I think he could.
I think this proved that.
For sure. Like a big crossover career, like comedy, like the type of comedy that Batista and Cena want to do, Bray Wyatt could actually do.
I want to emphasize again how strange it was, because I think there is something, and I think Drag Race has this problem too now, where they're just afraid of it being weird. Mm-hmm. So they try at all costs to keep it normal. And it's like, we're like, this whole thing, wrestling is so absurd already. Like, why not make it stranger? Why not make it more challenging or weird or uncomfortable? Because it doesn't have to be this like sanitized cartoon product that like means nothing to anyone. Like, can be just like truly bizarre, and already is a lot of the time. So like, why not just take that to the next level?
It kind of reminded me of like the few episodes I saw of Lucha Underground, kind of how weird they were getting.
Yeah, but Lucha Underground never got surreal. Like this, like felt like a dream sequence, which I thought was so cool.
And I wonder how much Bray Wyatt has to do with the writing of it, because he's so good at acting in it that he has to be involved in the character development of it all.
Who knows?
I don't know. They also really smartly used and leaned into the things that were like detriment to the other matches. Like when the other matches like felt weird because they were silent so often, this used long silences and lack of audience to really create a mood, and this used the lack of wrestling really as an advantage as opposed to a hindrance.
It was so cool. I want to see more of that.
I mean, I know I compare everything to David Lynch, but there truly was a Lynchian quality to parts of it.
Oh my god.
100%.
There's like darkness and like bizarre imagery that just goes unexplained.
I wonder what the fan base at large thought of that match, because obviously it appealed to us, but I wonder on like a larger scale if it even like did anything for anyone.
I think it was pretty divisive. I think pretty much people either loved it or hated it. I don't think there was a lot of in between.
Well, they did some smart things about like referencing the past and using nostalgia to their advantage. Like it paid off. People who had been fans for a long time got to see callbacks to things that they either loved or wanted to make fun of, and got to see that like rebirthed in a way that seemed really smart.
Mm-hmm.
And like John Cena was really game to like put on his old outfits and like bring back his old stupid personas and like.
But it was self-aware. It wasn't like,
It was very self-aware.
Every single time that John Cena comes back, it's like, oy vey, here he is again, like pulling out some old nostalgia act. And then they played that up by like literally making him do the whole like nostalgia.
Yeah, he has an idea of who he is and what he represents.
Totally.
He's not stupid.
Yeah.
He does the commercials he does outside of WWE are just like insane.
Right.
The stuff he picks to do, that Amy Schumer movie, I know I brought it up before, but like it's so different from like WWE stuff. But I think what they're doing here could be what SNL started doing with digital shorts. Putting some pre-recorded stuff like this in throughout the broadcast could keep it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And you really get to do a lot more.
I think it's just a matter of like being risky because they're so afraid of like market testing everything, and so
It's really,
things won't do well.
it's really interesting that everybody's having to be forcibly risky right now. You know?
Yeah, this is the kind of thing that would never have gotten produced if the world weren't ending. But I am really glad that we got to see it. I have just not really been bought into the Bray Wyatt thing. And like when The Fiend came back, that was still like poop. But like,
I loved it all.
This was the first time that I really got to understand, like, this was Bray getting to do the character as it's meant to be done. And I'm fully there for it.
It did renew my enthusiasm for wrestling a little bit after the like drudgery and sadness of what had come before it. And I was like, oh, maybe this like could be interesting if it were like surreal or you know, nightmarish in some real way. But we're just so risk averse most of the time.
It's kind of something I want to go back and watch. Like,
yeah,
I never really say that, but like that was super fun.
I would absolutely rewatch this match. And not just because John Cena's body be banging.
It's banging.
What's his hairline doing though?
Oh, did he get like a Joel McHale put in up top? I wasn't sure if that was new hair.
It kind of worked for the like bizarre like reliving your youth theme of the event, but it does not work as a normal thing that someone would have on their skull.
Is it fake hair?
I think so.
I think he might have gotten like a full like the doll hair like
Stick and poke hairdo. One of my favorite parts of this match was when John was in his gimmick of rapping. I have a piece that I wrote down from this.
A reenactment.
I got an idea for your puppet show. Put my junk in a glove. You can call him Mr. Suck It, bro. Poetry.
Art.
I liked when he was just screaming ruthless aggression over and over.
I know you did.
Yeah. This is like
everybody that follows you on Twitter knows you like that part.
It was just so wonderful.
This is like wrestling's version of nightgowns.
Yes.
Oh my god. Awesome.
Yes.
Also, how about the puppet of McMahon? Oh my god. Mr. McBig Boss or Mr. McBoss or something?
I could not believe that they let that air, that it was like a Vince McMahon with devil horns. It was so great.
So good.
Oh, everything about this was perfect.
Everything.
Yeah.
Except for The Fiend, which still looks like shit. Also, they had just used the he's right behind you gimmick in last night's final match when Undertaker was right behind AJ Styles. I was like, guys, we just did this last night.
What if What if WWE just leans into going super dark and campy?
Yes.
Great.
That's what WWE. That's what we want.
Gas Leak Wrestling.
I do have to say, of the whole event, there is, as we said earlier, the theme for me was camp, because as sad as I was during it, I laughed so much at the absurdity of the whole thing.
Mhm.
And it really did fail so spectacularly, mostly at delivering everything it tried, that there was something sort of sweet about it.
Yeah.
They tried.
Everyone was trying so hard, and it didn't work at all.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. That is the end of our show, but not the end of all shows. We can still do more shows, especially if you give us money for Patreon. I know things are tight right now, so subscribe after the pandemic, but the link is below. I'm at Ariel Italic at all the places.
I'm at the Lady Barica.
Barica messed that up about 6 times before we edited it to be correct. Have a good night, everyone.
You're at home. Bye.
Can you have Josh's email? Can you send that to him?
Yes.
And then remind him not to forget the credits that he always forgets.
Great.